business owners everywhere are trying to figure out some kind of way or some kind of business survival strategy to help them get through hard economic times. And even when they get through those times, how to, maintain their business going forward, once everything has leveled off or came to some kind of normalcy. And I have, five, ideas that I think business owners can use to keep a strategic survival plan to help them, navigate through tough times and also to kind of build upon everything once everything starts to level out. How's it all going? This is Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. The first thing I want to give as far as my business survival strategy plan is number one, don't panic. I think a lot of times when things just get kind of rough or even get frightened and people make moves that they normally wouldn't move. And I know it's easy to say don't panic when you see no one's coming in your business, your bills are piling up, uh, you got all kind of things stopping where one day before you were thriving and making money, and then the next day you're not doing anything. I can understand, the shock that comes with it. We're all going through it, and I understand. But the first thing you got to do is don't panic. And the reason why I say don't panic is because now you can focus on the plan you got to, move ahead with. You can't be reasonable and logical with your head all in different kind of places. So first you just got to stop for a second, assess where you are and what's going on with everything, and try to start, making some kind of plans, moving forward. Because again, if your mind is all kind of places and you're stressing and you're doing kind of things that you would normally do in normal situations, you're going to mess everything all up. Again, so just kind of level off a little bit with the best you can under the circumstances and try to make plans and moves under those circumstances. Try your best to not panic at all because when you start panicking, especially as a business owner, you alert, you already makes things internal with yourself as far as your body, your mind, and everything. It also gives different messages to your staff, different messages to your vendors, and also different messages to your customers. And we want to kind of maintain that even keel through the whole process. Again, I know it's easier said than done, but try your best to number one, don't panic. The second thing is be very proactive with your creditors and your vendors. Okay, there are a lot of programs out there, especially even like what's going on now, where you just reach out to creditors. Hey, listen, you know what's going on? My business slowed up. Can we adjust the terms we got? Same thing with your vendors. Listen, I know we owe you some money. Business is slowing up. Okay, I'm not a magician, but I can't pull anything out of the air. Let's kind of readjust some terms. Maybe do some different things, going forward, or we can readjust it in a certain period of time and see where we at. Also, be on the lookout and be proactive with different government programs, different assistance programs. One thing that I looked at even with that initial wave with the PPP loans and some of the item loans, where they were talking about some of the major organizations like Roof Chris and I forgot Steakhouse, Steak Shake. I'm sorry, I apologize, can't remember the name. And they were saying how they took so much money. The thing of it is too, hell, I think they need the money too. I don't care if you're a business making a small amount of revenue, a medium amount of revenue, or you're a multi-million dollar company. Hell, nobody's making any money right now. So to say, to look at it in terms of they were a major corporation making money before, just say looking at Roof Chris, they ain't doing it now. So that doesn't mean that they didn't need the damn money. It just seems that the perception may be that their drop from the top to the bottom wouldn't be as rough as somebody, if they already at the bottom. But hell, it may be worse. And I say this to say that I don't think a lot of people were as aggressive as they could have been with applying for the loans. Doesn't mean everybody didn't apply for it, but always keep yourself in a position to be able to acquire loans. A lot of different documentation, a lot of different compliance measures were asked to get, to acquire some of these loans. And again, you have to also be swift with applying for it also instead of assuming, putting off for tomorrow what you can do today. I think that was a combination of a lot of people missing out on loans. So I really want people, as far as business owners, being proactive to try to acquire assistance, even if you feel you don't need it in that particular time, because you this week and you a month from now can be totally different, especially when you don't have any idea for sure how things will get or not. So be very proactive with any kind of available plans that are out there. The third thing, assess your staff and your payroll. nobody wants to lay anybody off or fire anybody, anything like that. But I think you do have to go through some kind of measure of looking at, needs and wants. What this person brings to the table, what this person does not. Can we kind of combine skill sets and everything, readjust teams and everything? I think all that stuff has to go through, some kind of thought process. Wage restructuring. Listen, revenues drop. We might have to decrease your pay for a little while. Can we make some kind of adjustment in the terms with that? Look at working remotely. Hey, listen, we're gonna, try to see if we can get you guys, working from the house or something like that. Maybe in terms of just maybe decreasing some utility bills for having less people in your office. Different kind of things got to be looked at. Again, um, I think when you I don't necessarily say laying people off should be the first thing you do, but it may sometimes just be the obvious thing you got to do because in relation to the amount of money you may have coming into your business, it might be your first logical option to take. But I do think if, as long as you look at several different options when it going to assessing your staff. I think that's the best thing to do. I will say this: don't try to hold on to something you can't keep. And no one wants anybody to be without a job. But I'm talking to business owners. You can't keep trying to hold on and then the ship's sinking because you try to maintain a certain thing that couldn't be maintained. So with that said, that's why I said be proactive with if you have to restructure payroll, if you have to, just say, defer certain things, or even just say, come to your employees, like, listen, uh, we're not getting the money coming in. I understand what's going on. Do you want to work, be furloughed, work for free? And when I say work for free, listen, the job is still here, and everything. Once we get through it, we'll be there. You may do it on a part-time basis. It's a lot of different creative ways. And I know some of it may come off as just being nonsense, but in the grand scheme of things, once things are leveled off and it comes back, you know, do you was it more beneficial you to start over somewhere and be maybe at the bottom of the totem pole there, or be uncomfortable maybe about a month or two? Again, that's not a me call or anything to say with somebody, but it's just something to think about. These are different things that you can offer to your staff and your employees and being the owner of a business. The fourth thing we look at, more so kind of just make some kind of analysis of the diversification of your business's portfolio. There are maybe different divisions or different tasks that the company has over the years where this has been our bread and butter. But now your bread and butter in turn, salt and water, and you can't do anything with it. So the main thing that you make your revenue for may be non-existent, but the thing that you just kind of offer it out every now and then or as a complimentary service may be in more demand right now. I just kind of looked at myself with my tax business. Uh, I was well versed with remote services. We've been offering it for 5 years because that's what we used a lot when I was in graduate school. And but most clients, from a tax standpoint, they want to be face to face, keep it personal, have a feel for people, understandably. But with the pandemic came out, everybody had to work remotely. There were a lot of tax offices that couldn't pivot and shift. Well, this was something that we were always doing, and we thrived because of that. And that's just what I'm saying. That was just something that we hardly ever done, but we had the capability and we were doing it, but it wasn't a mainstay. But when that happened, we was able to shift to it. So try to kind of maintain. You look at the things that you have in your business portfolio. Like I said again, that may just be, excuse me, complementary services, but now you can sit here and just turn and pivot make one of your main services. You see it a lot with a lot of bars and stuff where they shifted from, just offering food, during the regular club hours to now they've become takeout restaurants and stuff. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. Prepare yourself to be able to pivot and shift to different things that you may not necessarily see. That's part of our normal business mainstay or culture here, but just maybe we can make some adjustments here to that just to stay alive. Again, we're talking about business survival strategies, okay? And the fifth thing is review marketing and sales. Um, I think one of the biggest things when people uh, business isn't going a certain way, people kind of get out of certain things and start number one panicking, and they stop putting money in advertising. They stop being aggressive trying to seek money because they say no one has money to spend instead of maybe recalibrating the way that they go about getting money. You may have to just revisit the different advertising platforms. Instead of doing commercial radio, you may go to social media or something like that. Maybe do YouTube or do some more Google ads and everything. Just a matter of being adjustment. Uh, like what's going on now, everybody's pretty much at home living off the phone. It will kind of behoove you to do more social media advertising where you may have done most of it, like saying print ads on the TV. Um, Look at different other kind of streams that you can kind of make. You know, if you're normally selling one product, could it be another product that you can bring in during a certain time that could be more beneficial to you with doing it. If you normally were selling, I would say maybe shirt designs or something like that. Maybe now you just brand out and just doing logos or doing something else that could kind of bring some kind of revenue into your company, but it may not necessarily, the mainstay may not be needed now, but just be able to change actually exactly how the revenue is coming in, other things that you could be doing. Other thing is when we're talking about marketing and sales, maybe just some of your billing procedures. Um, like I was talking about, being proactive with talking to your creditors or your vendors. You may be talking to your customers like, listen, I mean, I know everybody's slow and need money. You may go from a net 30 billing cycle where you want 30 days, you want payment rendered to you, to maybe 45 or 60. All right. But you may acquire a certain percentage down or something like that. You have to be creative. Again, we're trying to survive. We're trying to stay open. We want to be able to make it through some very, very tough times. So once we get past that, we've learned a lot about ourselves and we're proud about what we've been able to accomplish. So I say this, when you're looking at those five things I just discussed in terms of your business survival, strategy guide or strategic plan, I want you guys to kind of just look through those five things and think real hard about the different things you can do from those different five aspects. Again, this is Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Mr. Short Dollar, where we talk about personal finance, business, entrepreneurship, and real estate. We got a lot of videos coming down the pike. I want you guys to, these are some tough times, but just stay steadfast and hang it out. Great days are still going to come in the future. And always listen, make sure, to get more great content, look at more great videos, hit that dollar sign in the bottom right hand corner. Take care.